also in his sons. Do we find it therefore strange that he said, I will scatter you? So Levi is a tribe which ended up being priests.
Actually, not a tribe. It's like the priests because they didn't even get land of their own.
Yeah.
So you see where it comes from. They didn't get land of their own.
But let me just throw a spanner in the works in there, because people will argue, and probably you might know that Fiona might know that some guys will say my anger was legit.
Yeah, it was justified.
It was justified because honestly,
you provoked me.
You don't rape my sister.
No. From what you said last time, anger is a natural emotion, people.
Yeah.
It's what you do.
You see,
with it.
now this is another issue that we're having. People are afraid to be angry.
Yeah, we gotta be angry. Yeah.
In fact, if we don't do anything with this episode, we must teach people
to be
how to be angry, because
and not sin.
Yes, because anger is natural.
Yeah.
We are angry. Now, the thing about anger and why it is defined with words like cruelty and fierce is because there is sharpness to it. It's like when we are dealing with anger, we are dealing with a two-edged sword. It cuts both ways.
It cuts you.
It cuts you and cuts another person.
And causes you to cut someone else.
Exactly.
To cut someone else.
So now, imagine if you have scabbard a sword. To scabbard a sword is to sheathe. Yeah. So now you've sheathed a sword in your heart. What is happening? Every movement, it is cutting. Just imagine swallowing razor blades or swallowing ground glass.
Yeah.
This is what ulcers feel like. And you know one of the causes of ulcers? Anger. You get? So people are suffering physical ailments because of unresolved anger. Either that they have harbored and they don't want to talk because they don't want to come off wrong, or that they have suffered and they do not know how to respond to. So first of all, let us say it is okay
to be angry.
Yeah. But then there is a better way to communicate anger. So
anger has got to be acknowledged, number one, that I am angry.
Yes.
And then it has got to be expressed, number two.
Now that's
which is now the outlet, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, but I do feel like, I don't know what you think, but I do feel like if I acknowledge my anger, the moment I've acknowledged my anger, then it's somehow I've already expressed it.
But have you resolved it?
So resolving is the
next. It's another state,
and
it's also dependent because
because if you don't resolve it, you end up here. So this is where I want to.
What do you mean you end up here?
Just want to get a story.
So the thing is that because there are two parties, there could be more than two.
Yeah.
Like there's you, and then there's other person or other people that have maybe caused you to be angry. So they could say acknowledge it. And then I always say have meaningful ways or have healthy outlets of even communicating that anger. People always talk about, I fear confrontation. But it comes down to what's the tone of that confrontation. Some people like, first sleep on it. Don't deal with it immediately because right now I'm too hot. If I say anything, I might say something I'll regret tomorrow. So let me first sleep on it.
Which is wise.
While others will be like, no. Let's deal with it now. Because if I say I'll sleep on it, then I'm just going to sweep it under the carpet. And you know what that does? You just keep building. And then one day, it will blow over. And imagine someone talking to you 5 months down the road. You did this, and there's even no opportunity to now start addressing these things.
Yeah.
Because you would have preferred addressing them when they happen.
Right then and there.
So it always helps to know, who am I dealing with? Are they the kind that would prefer, let me sleep on it because then I can be objective to listen to you?
Yeah.
Because then what's the point of talking to someone who is not ready to listen?
It's the conversation might... Another anger point might come out of that conversation.
And then also you might even be misunderstood. You might
misquoted.
I have a funny thing for you and for all the marrieds out there. I want you the next time you're angry and you're seething and you really, because we talk about communicating anger and also communicating when you're angry. You see, these are two different things. The most important thing is
I am angry.
I am angry, but I must communicate. So I discovered a hack. Next time you're angry, especially if you're those people who burst out and do this and quarrel and all that, I want you to just master the most calmness you can, and then quarrel in a whisper.
How do you do that?
You can't do that. You can't do that. And then that is why, like for real, try and quarrel in a whisper. Because you see, what we're talking about here is non-verbal communication. Whereby non-verbal communication, we're talking about the volume of your communication. That sometimes your tone and the volume blows things out of proportion.
And even your facial expressions and mannerisms.
So try what? Try to quarrel in a whisper if you're one of those quarrelsome people. And then the second thing, these people who, pussyfoot around issues, like they keep you, you do something, okay, I've come home late, and your wife keeps you. Then you just notice she's doing things, like they're exacerbating, she's not quarreling, or he's not quarreling.
But there's something wrong in the air.
There's an elephant in the room. And this is what I tell couples that I counsel. I say, one day, just get your partner, hold them by the hand, lead them into the room and say, let's quarrel. Let us quarrel now.
Yeah.
You know the first thing that's going to happen? You're going to laugh.
Yeah.
Now, when you've laughed, then you realize actually what we need to do is to communicate. So I've given you 2 hacks. The first thing, if you're a quarrelsome person, because there are anger issues, how to manage your anger. Next time you have an argument, and maybe you're arguing with someone you love, we should not take that away. But having anger does not take away love. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you don't love them. Yeah. So Fiona, for you, what has been your experience? Because we're talking solid Jamas here.
Yeah.
What has been your experience, when it comes to relationships, anger, and so on? You say you are divorced. Could you pinpoint anger as a catalyst or one of the ingredients on the menu?
Oh my, that's quite sensitive and too close to home. But so I think as men, when things are not going well, could be at a workplace, or you're not at a place where you thought you would be, or you see your mates growing, and you feel inadequate, you feel something is wrong. So then you come home and maybe your wife is at a place where she seems okay, she's thriving, she's growing, and I think as a married man, that does something to you.
Does it?
I think so. It does. So we're told. And then, so you say something, or you want to purchase something, and then the person says no. And but then you're like, okay, I have the money. I have the money for it. And it's like, no, probably because he feels like he should be the one that should be
making that decision.
Or making that decision, even making that suggestion.
Yeah.
But here you are making the one. And so because of what he's going through, because of maybe could be esteem issues, it's thrown out of perspective. Now you want to make decisions. Now you want to, and it's probably something that you need in the house. And so words are thrown at you. And it could be, and it's basically because maybe he's not making as much money, and in that moment you have in no way loaded over him the fact that maybe you're earning more. Yeah. So just as you're like, maybe we need a new bed, or we need new chairs, or we need to do something, and it's something for the home, and then it's thrown at you in a way that you can clearly see it's coming from low self-esteem.
Yeah.
maybe someone said something to him at the workplace that maybe he's not good enough. Because even you men, you go to places and maybe you disagree with your friends and one of your buddies will throw something at you. And then you come home and you carry that weight. And then your wife has just made a comment, an innocent comment, without background information of what happened earlier in your day. And so it rubs him the wrong way. Catalyst. So then he throws that stuff at you. And so, as I said in the beginning, you have to be the mature person, be the bigger person. But you also have to be at a place where you easily understand where this person could be coming from. Because if you're equally hot-headed, it's then that confrontation that will just go the wrong way. And then, you're misunderstanding each other. But I remember once someone in this person's life telling me that in our family we struggle with alcohol, we struggle with anger, and I think polygamy. And so when the person told me that anger is one of the things that they struggle with in the family, so I got to a point where I easily understood.
So these are the patterns of paternity in that family.
Yeah. But you see, because these were people that I looked at as, yes, they're Christians and they're still, they're really great Christian people. And even when situations are thrown at them or they find themselves in situations, they try to be mature about the situations and how they handle them. So I was at a point where I knew, okay, these are people who have mastered that, okay, there's a pattern here, but this is how we deal with it. When we're angry, we apologize. Or when we lash out at someone, you drink a glass of water, then you come and apologize. And I saw that. But there was a time I was in a certain environment where a conversation seemed normal, and then someone threw keys. Not at someone, but threw keys
away in expression of anger.
It was like
rage.
It was an outlet. Yeah, the same way you find people who throw cups or break things.
I've been that guy before.
So I think in that moment they couldn't. I think they were controlled to a certain degree that they didn't want to hit someone.
Right.
So they threw keys at a cupboard and And so I kind of noted that.
An incident.
Yes.
The first time.
Yeah. And then, and so when I'm, home and, I have a husband and very expressive as well. And, there's that tribe that we are told, and these people, they say it as it is.
Yeah.
Though in some certain spaces you're told, but sometimes some of these are just bad manners. You still have to be sensitive, even if you're a Machiga, even if you are from a certain tribe, you still have to be sensitive, you still have to be kind, extend grace. So you coming from that tribe does not excuse you from having unhealthy ways of expressing anger. Yeah, especially when, as we're Christians, we know better. We ought to do better. So I was in a situation where, as I mentioned, someone just shouts at you, someone just lashes at you, lashes out at you, and you ask yourself, where is this coming from? So again, then you have to be the bigger person. You take the higher road and respond with grace, if you can. Or I, for one, when I'm angry, I just cry. There's like that thing that in your throat, like you want to say something. It's not mango. So for me, it's like I just cry, and that is my outlet most times. And so, and sometimes you find people saying, now you're crying. Why are you crying? I'm like, friend, I am letting this thing out. Yeah. You don't know. But then some people easily think that I'm manipulating you. But no, that is my outlet. That is because you feel like you're being choked. You want to say something, but if you open your mouth, you're going to say something you probably regret. So you don't want to do that. So I would just...
Wow. Let's give you a moment to breathe as we go into the break, so that when we come back, I would like to hear about the effects of this anger on you as a person and on the children, so that me as a man who